Hey guys, and welcome back to EQ Planes, and today I'll be doing a Calgary airport update. I've got plenty of new models which have come in for the Calgary airport update, and I believe this is my first time doing it with the expanded mat, so should be an exciting one. So starting us out for today's airport update, we have this WestJet 787-9 lined up on the runway getting ready to depart out to Paris. Holding short of the runway, we have this United 737-800 in the Evo Blue livery, which will be going out to Denver. Behind him, we have this WestJet 737-800 with the blended wingtips that'll be headed out to Winnipeg. WestJet now has a 737-800 in the new livery and will have some more 737-800s painted this coming spring, including the Disney planes and their 100th NG livery, meaning that WestJet will no longer have any special liveries in their fleet. So hope we at least get a model of their 737-800 in the new livery sometime soon. And then for the first and final time in my airport updates, we have a Lynx Air 737 MAX 8, which will be headed down to Phoenix. I am making this video a little bit late, so when I had originally set this airport up, Lynx was still in operations. Certainly very sad that I'll only be able to use this Lynx 737 MAX in my airport updates one time, as all the Lynx 737s have now left Calgary down to Tucson, where they'll presumably be refitted and repainted for other airlines. I will also have a video detailing Lynx's history and demise, hopefully sooner rather than later, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Behind that, we have this Air Canada A321, which will be headed out to Vancouver. Air Canada is currently refitting their A321s and some of their A320s with a new cabin product. This has already seen its debut on the Star Alliance A321. The interior looks absolutely incredible and will be interesting to see how quickly the entire fleet is refitted. And here we have one of the two 737-800s in Flair's fleet, which will be making a flight down to Vegas. And moving over to another taxiway, we have this Flair 737 MAX 8, which will be making the flight down to Cancun. It'll be interesting to see what Flair's future holds, especially with Lynx now out of the picture. I'm really rooting for them, as now they're Canada's only ULCC. Admittedly though, Flair's future doesn't look particularly bright, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go out of business sometime this year. But only time will tell, and I certainly hope that they're able to survive. On a personal note though, I'd love to see Flair return on the Calgary to Kelowna route now that Lynx is obviously no longer serving it, as prices have once again jumped up significantly from the $50 mark to around the $300 to $250 mark, which is just a ridiculous amount for a flight that short. And taxiing behind him, here we have an Air Canada 777-300ER, which will be making the flight out to Toronto. And here we have a Sunwing 737-800, which will be taxiing up for departure down to Mazatlan. The Sunwing being integrated into WestJet this summer, and with Air Transat no longer having a presence in Western Canada, I think it would be an interesting opportunity to see Flair take on some of the charter/package holiday work that Sunwing currently does. Behind him, we have this WestJet 737 MAX 8, which will be headed down to Atlanta. Here we have an Air Canada 787-9, which will be headed out to London. Air Canada painted their first wide-body passenger aircraft into the new livery since 2020 recently, that being a 787-8. So hopefully we continue to see Air Canada paint their new livery onto their wide-body fleet. Here we have another WestJet 737-800, with this one headed down to Houston, while following him we have this Air Canada Q400, which will be headed up to Edmonton. And over here we have a UPS 767-300, which will be making a flight out to Sioux City. And making its first showing in one of my model airport updates, we have this Porter E2, which will be making a flight out to Ottawa. Taxiing behind him, we have this WestJet 787-9, which will be taxiing out for a departure to Kahului. Moving over to the cargo section, here we have a FedEx ATR-72, which will be making a flight out to Regina. Here we have a WestJet Cargo 737-800, which has just come in from Halifax. And parked right next to him in from Saskatoon, we have the Cargojet 757. Cargojet will no longer be taking on the 777, however, it would still be nice to have one of their 767s in 1-400. Here we have a new livery Air Canada Jets A320, which has come in on a charter flight from Edmonton. And beside him, we have this Aeroflyer 737-600 preparing for a flight out to Kelowna. And over here, just in from LA, we have this Delta 757 on a hockey charter. Getting prepared for some maintenance work, we have this mainline Air Canada A319 still painted in the Rouge colors. Air Canada currently has two A319s in the Rouge colors operating for mainline. And over at the hangar, we have a Swoop 737-800 and a Swoop 737 MAX having some maintenance work done on them, WestJet's recently been adding some small decals on the swoop aircraft indicating that they're operated by WestJet, as supposedly the aircraft aren't likely to be repainted this year. Along with that, we have an Air Canada A320 in the TCA Retrojet livery and an Air Canada CRJ just waiting around. And as per usual, we have the Air Canada CRJ 200, the Alaska Airlines Q400, and an Air Canada Jazz CRJ sitting in the Calgary junkyard area. Right here we have a WestJet Q400, which will be making the flight up to Grand Prairie. Beside it, we have a new livery WestJet SAB 340, which is a model I'm definitely surprised that Gemini Jets had done, but it'll be coming in from Medicine Hat today. And next to him, we have a WestJet SAB 340 in the old livery, which will be making a flight out to Lethbridge. Over here at the International Gate, we have a Discover Airlines A330-200. We'll be excited to receive Condor this coming spring back at Calgary, and with Condor and Discover Airlines serving the route, both being more budget-oriented carriers, really hope to see Lufthansa replace Discover Airlines in Calgary. And parked over here at a domestic gate, we have this Air Canada 737 MAX, which will be making a flight out to Toronto. Next to him will be this WestJet 737-700 headed out to Abbotsford. Well over here we have this Air Canada A220 headed out to Newark. And just in from Puerto Vallarta, we have this Flair 737 MAX 8 doing some more sun flying. Parked over here just in from Seattle, we have the Alaska Airlines E175. And finally, we have this Delta E175, which will be making a flight down to Salt Lake City. But yeah, that'll be it for today's airport update. Anyways, be sure to stay tuned for some more in the future, and thank you guys for watching.